Mr. Tony Hall, come forward, please.
Tony was certainly a coach before his time in that he was always searching for a way to get an advantage, always a way to make himself a little bit better so he could hopefully make his athletes succeed in competition.
I remember the first time Tony came to the club. We came down in the spring, and I think it was snowing on the day that he had us all come down for our first meeting. And we thought he was kind of crazy getting us to come to do this canoeing practice in the snow. He brought us all in afterwards and said, you know, if you guys want, if you really train hard, you can go to nationals and we can win some medals at nationals. We're a little club at Orenda, and we had never even sent anyone to nationals, let alone go and win medals there.
Winning is actually something you should strive for, but you have to put in the work to be able to do it. Right? You have to do it in the right manner. Tony was part of that group who moved paddling to a whole new level.
You know, through that summer, and he inspired us, and he had us training harder than ever. And sure enough, at the end of the year, we went to nationals, and we won a couple of different war canoe races and a couple of different medals for the cruise. And then it just kind of took off from there, right? People came to the club, they saw what he was doing, and we grew and got better and better.
Personally, I'd like to thank you, Tony, for starting me on my career in coaching. Every day it makes me appreciate, you know, the impact that coaches can have on kids.
Tony, congratulations on your induction into the Sport Hall of Fame. I believe you're one of the greatest coaches that has ever been here in Nova Scotia and one of the greatest canoe coaches that's ever been in the world. So thanks for everything you've done, and enjoy the night.
A revered coach and mentor, Tony Hall worked tirelessly to bring Nova Scotia international recognition for paddling. For nearly 3 decades, Tony helped propel Nova Scotian canoers and kayakers to unprecedented success while training some of our finest Olympic and world champion paddlers. He coached in 1984 at the Orenda Canoe Club on Lake Echo, working out of a garage full of beat-up equipment with a group of enthusiastic kids from a small rural community of only 800 families. Hall insisted that paddlers needed to train year-round, and he was soon hired on as one of Canada's first full-time year-round paddling coaches. In just 3 years, he coached the fledgling Orenda Canoe Club to a national championship. He also led Nova Scotia teams to victory at the Canada Games in 1981 and 1989. Tony coached the Canadian canoe team at the 1996 Atlanta Olympics, and he was personal coach for Olympic bronze medalist and world champion Steve Giles for 20 years. As a builder, Tony believes not only in improving the performance of the athlete, but in bettering the sports system itself. And tonight, we induct him into the Nova Scotia Sport Hall of Fame.
Tony Hall into the builder category into the Nova Scotia Sport Hall of Fame. To present the plaque, Tony coached this man to 2 gold medals at the 1981 Canada Games and influenced him to become a successful coach and leader. The Senior Director of Physical Activity, Sport and Recreation in Nova Scotia's Department of Health and Wellness, Mr. Steve Gallant. And to present the pin, the world champion paddler and a protege of Tony Hall, who was inducted into the Nova Scotia Sport Hall of Fame a couple of years back, Mr. Steve Giles. You know, there's a cool book by Carl Brewer, the old Toronto Maple Leaf defenseman, called The Power of Two. And that guy walking back there, I think all you've done, and we'll talk about that, but there's always going to be that special connection between you and him. Why was that so magic?
I think it was a really great coach-athlete relationship in that it was all about what we could do, but not about what we couldn't do. And so I had lots of shortcomings as a coach. Lots of people in this room would be quick to point them out, some of them. But and Steve, if you look at him, obviously, as you pointed out, his induction had lots of shortcomings as an athlete, as a canoe athlete. Wasn't the biggest, wasn't a prototypical guy that wins medals. And I think between us, we had that relationship that it was a weird way, we kind of needed each other. And I think that was it. And Steve was a guy who always took responsibility. There was lots of times, I always feel, I regret, I think I left him out to dry the 96 Olympics. I don't know if you've ever seen the video. He led the race for 400 meters. Bad coaching, without a doubt. But at the end of the day, Steve wasn't coming to me like, I'm looking for a new coach, I'm doing anything different. And likewise, when he struggled, I wasn't pushing him, say it's all or nothing. And so I think that's why it worked.
The power of two, right?
Exactly.
The power of two. Coaching has been a huge part of your life, and we hear athletes say what they got from you. What did you get from them?
Well, I think that got to learn what I saw Mickey Fox say at the beginning of people, just how powerful sport is. And
it's not easy. Kathy, you want to come back up? Or no? Do you have any tissue? Or okay.
No, just what a great thing sport is. Again, it's all about the good in us and about what we can do, not what we can't. And when I see the talking about Lake Echo, it's that was just such a great example of what sport's all about. It was 700 families, nothing to do in the community. At one point, I think we had like 62% of the kids in the community in some aspect of the canoe club. And I remember that meeting like it was yesterday with Steve, the kids coming down. I had lucky, I'd been through